Happy New Year! It is Down Home with Tina, and I've got a couple of, I think, very important topics when it comes to the beginning of the year, because two of the big things that folks like to put in New Year's resolutions, I like to think, and mind you, this is just me just living life and knowing people, is travel more in the new year, and also they want to start eating healthier or differently. I never say and don't like to use the word diet because that's just, it's bad. Because when people think diet, they think they got to starve themselves. They can't eat all these different foods or whatever. Well, I've got a couple of guests today that one is going to talk about travel and a unique different way of traveling that also can help you to, if you pinch pennies and you're on a budget, will help you with that. And then also I have got Karla Perretta, who is going to talk with me about eating better, not necessarily dieting and starving yourselves, but eating healthier. It's Down Home with Tina.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Life is unpredictable. That's why estate planning is important. Estate planning provides you comfort and peace of mind knowing that you're taking care of your loved ones and ensuring your legacy lives on just as you envisioned. You lived a life that is beautifully and uniquely yours. You deserve an estate planning attorney who understands that and creates a plan as unique as you and in the best interest of your loved ones. You deserve the local, trusted, experienced attorneys at Dagger Law.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. I have got a good friend of mine. I've known her for several years. We are both book lovers. She is back, actually this is her second time on the show. Her name is Jodi Bird. She not only is an author, and she did an amazing book, if you recall. I'm trying to think of, was it last spring? It was
almost
this year.
2 years ago.
How many?
Yeah, almost two, because it's the beginning of 2020.
Wow, wow. Well, it's great to have you back. She has been a very busy gal, folks, and she is somebody who has a travel blog called Bountiful Blessings. And she even just said to me before we got started, I was in Cincinnati. I just got back from Cincinnati. And I gave her this look, but I don't know if it was not really I was confused look, but I'm not surprised look. Maybe, I don't even know what kind of look it was. But I was like, well, of course you are. I'm surprised she didn't say Cleveland, because that's 3 hours away. So share with folks, what is Bountiful Blessings?
So Bountiful Blessings is a travel blog that encourages both intentional travel and voluntourism travel. Voluntourism is kind of a new buzzword where some people think of it as going on a mission trip, maybe say to the Dominican Republic for a week and devoting your entire time to helping the community. But it doesn't have to be that extreme. Even buying from fair trade boutiques, supporting businesses like coffee shops that then support other nonprofits like human trafficking and things like that, staying in hotels that support the community, all that, just making your travel intentional by the way you spend your money.
Why did you decide to do something like that? Is that what led you into doing Bountiful Blessings?
It is.
Is that part of it? Okay.
Yep. Just trying to, there's 1,000, a million travel blogs out there, and finding something that was near and dear to my heart, but also making an impact, not just with my spending, but with other people and how they do things. Just that ripple effect of encouraging people. The need was out there, but people don't always know how they can volunteer when they go different places or how they can make a difference.
And Jodi, how do they find out? Are you a great resource for folks to look and see where you've been? Do you highlight those and say, hey, this is something that you can do as far as volunteering? And then what are some of the benefits of doing that?
Okay.
Part of it.
So yes, I'm on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram. I have a website, bountiful-blessings.com. I have travel itineraries, voluntourism itineraries, where you just purchase the itinerary and it's all right there laid out, make your reservations and you're good to go. Very simple. And it's multifaceted as far as who benefits. You're benefiting the businesses, you're benefiting the people on the receiving end, but you're also benefiting yourself. You may not mean to, but it always comes back to building yourself up.
It's a good feel-good thing when you're
for sure.
volunteering and doing stuff. So how much volunteering do you typically have to do when you do one of these?
It runs the gamut. Even being an usher at a theater down in Middletown is one of my favorite things to do. And
That sounds fun.
working with Samaritan's Purse on a 3-day event after a disaster, you know, it's everything in between.
Who pays for the travel? Is it you, or do they help offset that and the stay and all of it?
A lot of times I'm comped as to promote their business, but a lot of times it's just a donation or out of pocket.
This is a voluntourism, is
Yeah.
that what you call it? Yeah.
Yep.
So where all have you been? Some of the place. Well, then maybe we don't have time for all of them because you are busy. Every time I look at, you're at a different place on Instagram.
I have been busy, but for the most part, it's been regional, Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, and throughout the last 2 years with COVID, it kind of refocused me, brought me back, and I'm discovering so many places that are local and accessible and open and welcoming.
I hope it's okay to talk about this. You went on a trip, and it was out in Colorado. No, wait, was it Portland? Where was it?
Portland,
it was Portland, Oregon.
Maine.
Yeah, Oregon. Oh, Maine. Oh,
Maine.
Maine.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm all over the place.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Portland, Maine is where you were.
Yep.
What's the story about that?
So,
is it okay to share? Because I was just like, that is totally something that I could see myself doing, maybe. But I mean, it was just a cool story.
Yeah, so
of your adventurous
really
personality.
Yeah, so the whole trip got built around the fact that they have a hostel, and hostels are very inexpensive, and I'm a little bit on the frugal side when it comes to travel, and so a friend and I planned this trip, and we stayed in our own private room, but they also have dorm rooms where they have multiple bunk beds, and then we found out how we can volunteer at the cemetery, helping restore this 200-plus-year-old cemetery plot, and then we just kind of meandered around town and explored.
For those who don't know, what is a hostel?
It's kind of just a cheaper version of accommodations. So they have private rooms, but you always have a shared bathroom.
Okay.
They have a shared living space, a shared kitchen and garden area.
Yeah.
And then the hostel dorm rooms can be all male, all female, or a mixture of both. So typically, it's the younger kids who are staying there, but while I was there, it was a mixture of almost half and half of those under and those over age 30.
And I wonder, why did you think that would be something to experience?
Mostly because of the price. So you can stay in your own private room for $55 a night versus $250 in Portland at a Holiday Inn or something of that equivalent.
Yeah.
So yeah, makes for a more inexpensive way to travel.
Folks that do this kind of traveling, they really probably need to be pretty open-minded, right?
They do.
And be okay with, hey, sometimes you got to go with the flow with what might happen.
Right. Yep. But it seems like the people who do stay in these, they're all of the same mentality.
Yeah.
And so they're just there for a bed and to get to know other travelers.
So what has been like some of the most fun places that you have visited and interesting that you might want to highlight today?
That's super hard.
Do each have their own
They
story?
They do. I
story.
think just meeting the business owners, especially through the pandemic, has been probably a highlight to me, to see how they persevered, how the community supported them, and what they're doing, how they shifted and maybe created another product so that they could survive and stay in business. So that's been very inspiring.
What are some of the things that you want folks to know about today when it comes to traveling, I think, in general?
that the way we spend our money can speak volumes, and it really does make a difference, and it makes an impact for these locally owned businesses, and it's their livelihood, and supporting them is huge.
There was something that you did. You went to Tennessee. I know we've only got a couple of minutes. Did you want to talk a little bit about that? That's the Samaritan Purse, right?
Samaritan's Purse was in New Orleans.
Oh, that's see, I like it.
That's okay.
Where did I get Tennessee? Is there going to be one going there? Or something?
The Shower Up, the volunteerism.
See, guys, there's so many of them. I'm like, woo. She said Samaritan's Purse. I thought I was going to go with it. Yeah, it didn't work.
Okay.
Didn't work for me that time.
That's all right. So yes, a group of us from Fairfield County went down to New Orleans to help with the Hurricane Ida cleanup and restoration of the homes, and we worked on 2 different homes throughout the week. That was very fulfilling, and we have another group that's getting ready to go if you want to join us. The week of January 24th, we're going down to Kentucky to help with the recent tornadoes that just went through. And so it'll be a lot of debris removal and tarping of roofs of places that are still functional.
Jodi, can folks just reach out to you if they have any questions?
Sure.
On maybe, of course, finding out more about your travel blog,
right?
As well as your itineraries that you have available now.
Yes.
Okay. Are there a fee to those?
Yeah, they're $20 a piece, and they're all online. You can, download them on your phone, on your computer, and they're accessible as you're traveling.
These are places you've been.
Yeah.
So, and you've probably talked about them in your blogs as well.
Yep, and I only write about places I've been to because that was a pet peeve of mine when I would research things and the address would be wrong or the place would not be all they were hyped up to be. So,
nice. Anything else before we go?
I don't think so.
I love it. I love what you're doing. Keep doing it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And you're such an inspiration to folks on doing the different things. I love that volunteer part of it because it's a giving back. It's give and take. You know what I mean? I just really feel that when you give, you have that amazing. You're taking joy. You're walking away with joy. That's what I mean.
You are.
Thank you so much, folks. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in just a minute. I'm going to talk a little bit, being that it's the new year and everything, about healthy eating. None of us like it, but I'm going to tell you now, there are some really tasty treats that when you eat it, it's probably not that healthy that you eat as much of it. But we'll talk about that in a minute. It's Down Here with Tina.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area where the fountain is and the memorials and the flags and all the stuff. And we looked around and I said, there's our bank right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. And the employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back. It's Down Here with Tina. I have got Karla Perretta with me. She is one of my favorite people to chat with when I'm having a bad day, a good day, or a medium kind of day. But in either way, when I am in whatever mood, I love to eat. I just love food. I'm a foodie person. I can overeat. But one thing that I have been very careful about, now it's been months, I'm very happy to say, folks, is keeping out certain things out of my diet. Now, on purpose, like I can add sugar to tea or I could add sugar to my coffee and things like that. So I want to just go ahead and just welcome Karla, because Karla is going to talk to me about eating healthier and what are some of the ways that we can help ourselves in this new year, especially for those of you who have been maybe working on or wanted to for the New Year's as a resolution to eat better. You may not completely change your diet. I just cut out sugar. maybe once in a while, I may have a candy bar or I may have a sweet treat. But it's not very often. I don't keep the stuff in my house. I do have sugar in my house. I make chocolate chip cookies for every show, for every guest. It's okay once in a while to have one of those. I'm just saying I don't purposely go and eat a whole lot of that. And so she's going to talk with us about some of the different ways that we can eat healthy this year. But first off, you have something that you're working on.
Yes.
It is, what is your business and what do you do?
Okay, so yes, so seems like it's been forever. So I became certified as a integrative health coach. And then after that, I didn't really get kind of satisfied with the whole science of it. And so then I went back and I am now gaining a functional nutrition counseling certification, which is really where we start to really learn about how food affects you all the way down to a cellular type level. And then some of the habits and things that we can do to kind of improve our relationship with food and overall help our body, mind, and spirit as a whole body system.
Yeah, and it takes time.
It is, yes, it takes time. It's something, I think it's something that we all are, personally struggle with, our relationship with food, and especially like when we're stressed, and this is the holidays, and it's like, wow, but how do we maintain that? So.
Right, and this is the perfect time of year, especially to have you, because this is a time where folks are trying to find other ways. I do love sweet treats. I love, and it's not, my sweet treat is apples and the really good peanut butter. I like that. But there are a lot of other ways. You actually have made some really, really good things that I haven't even tried yet that you're going to talk about today to help ourselves to snack.
And
you're
going to
have
some Christmas Eve.
Just awesome.
Going to be having some.
Yes. So what are some of the things that we want to talk about?
Okay.
One of the item is it's kale.
Yes. So
not just kale.
Not just kale. Kale is one of those, it's basically just a natural dark leafy green. It's exceptional for the brain, the body. It adds all kinds of different minerals and nutrients to the body, which is great. But a lot of people, they're just like, wow, it's like chewing cud, because it's like chew, chew, chew. It's like, my gosh, how long are we going to chew on this stuff?
When you don't prepare it right.
When you don't prepare it
right. Which I have not ever prepared it right. And I've even had it, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. So
chew. I'm not doing it right.
So if you're going to do it just like kind of in its natural form, what I suggest is taking it, and it's really kind of fun. You just get in there, you're like working out all your stress, and then add a little bit of olive oil,
called
some seasoning.
What? Massaging.
You're massaging the kale, right? Yeah, and actually the olive oil absorbs into your hands too, which is really, really nice because it's actually very good for your skin. You could use a little bit of coconut oil, but olive oil. Key with using olive oils and things like that is if you are going to cook it or bake it, you don't want to go above 350 degrees because if you do, it changes the fat content actually becomes it's a negative effect for you, not a health benefit. It loses all of its health benefits if it's overcooked past its heat point.
Okay.
So you just kind of want to keep that in mind. So with kale chips, you massage the kale with the olive oil just till it's kind of wet and you can start to see it kind of break down. Then you lay it on a cookie sheet. Put it in the oven. I like to cook mine on 325, kind of low, and then every 5 to 10 minutes, I just kind of take it out, flip it around a little bit. Okay. And as we're in the last 5 minutes, you can start to see where it's going to get crispy, like a potato chip. That's what you're looking for. You could add black sesame seeds or white sesame seeds. You could add some chia seed to add some protein and
Do you add
extra.
any kind of salt or anything like that?
I usually just add a little bit of seasoning, but you can get kind of crazy with it. I've made some sweet kale, which is where I'll take a little bit of cinnamon, and then which is kind of nice. And then when it's at the very last couple minutes of baking, I'll drizzle a little bit of organic honey on that, just a little drizzle, and then it just kind of hardens, and then you're good. So that's a great treat.
It is a very, very good treat.
One, and it's kind of like addictive because it's kind of got that sweet salt thing going on, so I really enjoy that.
Prep time is about how long to do that?
Oh gosh,
would you say?
Under 10 minutes.
Is it really?
It's so quick.
Why have I not
it's
made
so
this?
quick. The one thing I do want to mention is that when you get the kale, I would suggest getting 1 to 2 bunches of kale because when it starts to break down, it really shrinks up, so you don't end up with a lot of content if you're going to dry it.
Right. Yes. Oh my goodness, it's really good. I've had it at your house, and it's delicious.
That's pretty tasty too. So I enjoy that.
Yeah. What else do you have to share with folks?
Well, I have a millet and oat breakfast bar that I like to make. It has old-fashioned rolled oats. It may have, sometimes I'll use like sunflower seeds or pepitas, which are like just kind of like a green pumpkin seed. I will add sesame seeds, cinnamon, sea salt, pecans, almonds. It has lots of different nuts in it. Medjool dates are great because you can use that to replace white sugar. It gives it quite a bit of sweetness, and it gives it some texture.
Yes.
And it makes it so it's not like hard.
Is this
but it holds
does it become
together.
a bar?
It becomes a bar.
It
Yep,
is-
it's
okay,
it's like a breakfast bar, and you would cut
breakfast
it
bar,
into
okay.
slices, and then you could take it. You could have it for tea or coffee.
Have I had this one of yours?
You have not, but you're going to be
Okay.
trying it very soon.
Good,
So,
yeah,
yep.
yeah.
So yes, you will.
And
And
then
then it
something
has
similar, but you didn't make it. Yes.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
and it
it's an awesome
has
treat.
vanilla extract, and then basically you're just cooking it at 320. I can post. Maybe you can post a link to the recipe.
Absolutely wonderful. Yes. To your. Do you have a website right now?
I do.
Yes.
It's
What is it?
www.thefunmindstudio.com.
Okay.
And I've got lots of healthy recipes, ways to improve different foods, because one of the things, my biggest challenge was really trying to eliminate white sugar out of my diet.
And that's what I was going to ask you next.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that we can replace that sweet that we get from the sugar?
So my two favorite replacements for white sugar is stevia and monk fruit. Stevia, they are both plant extracts.
Where do you get monk fruit?
You can get them it's available for you easily at any grocery store. Kroger
Okay.
carries it, Meijer, all of those places, just typical places.
Okay.
Monk fruit is sweeter than sugar, so you use less of it. But of course, the conversions are always on the packages based on each different product. But stevia is a 1-to-1 for the most part, which is pretty easy. So whatever you use to cooking with. I like baking with it. I haven't had any issues transforming it, but also natural forms of like honey and things like that. But the first two are great for people who may have diabetic or blood sugar issues, because it does not, neither one of those products affect blood sugar.
Okay. So I know there was, I didn't want to take away any other time. Do you have something else you want to talk about
just
before? Because I
continue.
had that recipe that I had mentioned.
Yes, please mention that. That's a good one. That's so tasty.
I think I got it when I was doing a cleanse thing. And this is where, when I said earlier on the show that I could overeat it, but it's cauliflower popcorn.
Cauliflower popcorn. It's so good.
And
it's another like roasted type treat.
Yes.
And again, you can get crazy with your own flavors and options. I prefer the spice. Like I like to take cayenne and do a cayenne pepper, and then again, just a little bit. Sometimes I'll just sprinkle a little bit of cane sugar, and like just like very little for the whole batch.
Yes.
But again, it's sweet and spicy.
And all you got to do is take a head of cauliflower, and you take off the cauliflower and you chop it. Finely chop it.
Yeah,
like
just like
pretty,
you take all the florets and all the hard stem out.
Yes, and then do you have the recipe there? I didn't know if you did, because I know I'd made it and it was just delicious.
Yep, you basically bake it on 425. Again, at that level, if you want it to be crispier, you're going to want to use grass-fed butter. Now, don't be afraid of butter. That's people are so afraid of butter, but it is if you know anything about the keto diets or whatever, but true grass-fed butter is really what you're looking for. If you would like butter, it's actually really quite good for you.
Okay.
It
Probably
helps.
within reason, the amount of it, right? With
Yeah,
anything,
of course,
you don't wanna
everything is
overeat
within reason,
yeah.
but it actually has a significant amount of benefit for the brain specifically. So
really,
yep, and it can help you lose weight.
Nice. I
Believe
know
it
with
or
the
not,
cauliflower, you chop it, you put on olive oil, and then
you can do olive oil, but if you're gonna do olive oil, you want to roast it lower temperature.
That's what I thought, and just longer.
Yep.
Is what it would
Otherwise,
be.
you can use coconut oil, or you can use like a sesame oil. Sesame seed oil is
Maybe
good
it was
because it's a
coconut
higher
oil
temperature.
that I had. Yeah, it may have been coconut oil.
Yeah.
But it's good stuff. I mean, folks, even the kids, maybe like if you don't tell them what it is, you can't even tell. I think that it's cauliflower.
yeah.
And it looks like little popcorn. They call it popcorn cauliflower. Yeah. It looks like it. Definitely, of course, not the texture at all.
Oh, yeah.
And doesn't,
But yeah,
crunchy.
just when if you're going to bake with like brown sugar, just get a higher quality, organic, non-GMO variety. If you're going to be cooking with those types of things, is the least amount of processing on that type of stuff is best.
And you said something. You said cane sugar.
Cane sugar,
What is
cane
that
sugar versus
like?
white sugar. It is still considered a processed sugar. However, it's less refined. So it's a little bit better, or something you might see like naked sugar or raw sugar. Those are all like basically brand products, but those are also. It's a slightly better choice than white sugar, and then you have some of the other choices. But of course, any type of natural sweeteners are always best, like your honeys and.
Oh,
things
yeah.
like that. Beet juice, you can use all kinds of things like that.
And you can overuse the honey. Too much honey is not good for you.
It can spike your sugar, so you just need to be careful with that.
Because I'm that one in the tea. Not now. I'm doing really, really good about unsweetened tea, nothing at all. I have come a really long way, Karla.
Yes.
I think, I don't know if you know.
Yeah, it's been a process. It's a process. It's a process. It's like a lifestyle
Tina's
change.
been a process.
It's a process. The Western diet
Everything
is just
is a
really full of
process.
processed and refined foods. So just really trying to do any kind of little shifts to get away from the processed and refined foods.
Yes.
Try to do whole foods, natural fruits for that sweet flavor. But of course, every now and again, we actually want a piece of cake. At least I do. I can't live without cake.
And it's okay. That's me. I can't
I
live
love my
without steak
sweets.
or meat or something.
I
You know,
love
I'm
my
like,
I love my
can't
sweets.
Eat a
I love
whole
my
lot of
sweets,
it,
but there's
just
lots of ways to
gotta-
improve the quality of the food and also, but not compromise flavor and taste.
Your contact information one more time for folks who were talking about these recipes and such.
So it is going to, my website is www.thefundmindstudio.com.
Thank you so much, my
Thank you.
friend.
All right.
I'll see you later.
Thank you.
Folks, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. It's Down Here with Tina.
Hi again, everybody. Welcome to the high school football game of the week. I'm Jaron Stewart alongside Tim Shoemaker. Tonight, we've got a great one for you. The Bloom Carroll Bulldogs.
It was a great week of practice. Even in the rain and the weather, we had a great week of practice.
Schneider, lots of running room to midfield. He's gone. Ryan Schneider down the near sideline for a touchdown for the Aces.
We have a hold on the offense, number 20. That penalty will be declined. They'll bring up fourth down.
We're going to give you this game ball here because you're a Tiberios fan of the game. And thanks for being here, Jacob.
Thank you. The Polar Bears are your OAC tournament champions. First time since 2009. What an exciting finish for the Ohio Northern Polar Bears.
And be very proud of this trophy because you've earned it.
Down Here with Tina is brought to you by these amazing sponsors. I want to thank all of you for continuing to watch and spread the news. Always got some fun things happening here on this show. I've got a fun year coming up. I hope that you are having a good and happy new year so far. Folks, I want to remind you, I always do that, don't I? I want to remind you of this and that. And I think that sometimes we do need a friendly reminder of just different things. Something that in the new year I want to just make sure to share is we all live life. And I had a really good conversation with my dad. And we were talking about everybody makes mistakes. If you are trying to eat healthy, or if you don't want to maybe drink alcohol anymore, you don't want to do this or you don't want to do that, just keep in mind that there's sometimes going to be situations where you may do it and then go, oh my goodness, I can't believe I just did that. I told myself I wasn't going to do it. Don't be too hard on yourselves, because we all do something and do things that sometimes we'll look back and we will question. But what I want you to do is not to just completely forget about those things. And sometimes we need to. I do think that we have to go, hey, you know what? Let's just get that out of mind. Let's change our mindset. Let's be more positive. Let's learn from that lesson. Maybe help others from those lessons that you have learned, but don't hold on to it, because when you hold on to a whole lot of weight on your shoulders, it is going to bring you down, and it is going to continue to bring you down throughout life, and it's never going to do any good for you. And I feel in my heart that when you experience things, it is to better you as a person and to make you to move forward with a more happy, positive outlook and attitude on life. I hope that you have a wonderful week. I'll be back next week. It's Down Here with Tina.